Hey guys, welcome to episode 26 of Unethical Podcast.
Due process, not so much.
Our guest host for this episode is Bob Motta of Defense Diaries podcast, and today we're going to be discussing the Salem Witch Trials. Welcome to Unethical Podcast. Welcome to the show, guys. This is going to be episode 26 of season 1. We're done.
Oh my god.
What?
Finale.
Well done.
This is crazy. We've done more than the moon around the earth of time. That's amazing to me. We've done 26 hours worth of free content, which I find it's amazing.
That's crazy. We've only known each other for 3 months and we've spent like several days together. That's
good.
Crazy.
Oh my god, I talk about you guys like you're my best friends.
We are.
Oh, same. I'm like, you want to know what my friend said about my nephew?
Yeah. Which friend? The person I've never met on the other side of the world.
All right, so to celebrate the season finale of season 1, we are going to read to you a collection of our worst reviews this season. Welcome. Let's come up with a podcast awards name, like the Oscars, but for podcasting. And don't say Podskers because that's stupid.
Yeah.
Podskers, no. That's stupid.
The Silver Eagles.
The Silver
The
Eagles.
righties.
Then the potties, meaning like, you know.
No,
like
not the
shit.
potties. You know, fuck it. Fine.
They're shits.
Fuck it. Welcome to the potties, motherfuckers.
Right.
Let's get this shit going.
All right, this one's from the US. So this is from Podcast Junkie 1977. So gross. Podcast has an amazing opportunity to cover interesting topics and incidents. Too bad the host's sense of humors lack common decency and compassion. I would have thought 1 of 4 of the people giving commentary would have an above average sense of humanity. Thank you, Podcast Junkie 1977.
Oh, the humanity.
Thank you very much, Podcast Junkie. It's almost like this podcast is unethical.
Made for you.
Okay, well, the one I picked is a 2-star review, and it's from Kai Haiola. Kai Haiola, fuck you,
Easy for you to
83.
say. Easy
I
for
don't
you
know
to
how-
say.
Yeah, it's Kaihiola 83. Kai Haiola 83. And then the title is Unfortunately ... And then the body of it goes, I recently found this podcast. I really wanted to like it. You cover such interesting topics, so I was intrigued and really looking forward to diving in. Unfortunately, I started your most recent episode and I was only a few minutes in when I heard one of your guys use the word, quote, retarded.
Oh.
In a classless manner. I'm unsubscribing ... So maybe she's not unsubscribing, and I'm going with she because her name is K Iola. It's Karen Iola. And I'm sorry.
Of course, it's Karen.
It's my guess. But
Karen.
I do want to tell you something about the R word that everyone's very sensitive about these days. I legitimately, I don't know who said it in that episode. I'm not throwing anyone on the bus. It was probably me though, because I say it out of habit because I was born in a different time where I would use that as a child. I am trying to get over it. I'm sorry. Okay. It's the R
100%.
word now. I get it. I'm
Fine.
Okay. I'm
Right.
bowing to your fucking censorship, you pieces of shit.
Okay, everybody, just it's okay. All right. Richard had some problems when he was a kid. That was the term that they used when they diagnosed him. He thought it was a compliment. His parents didn't want to hurt his feelings. What he meant was that it was awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
He's above New England. Give him a
And
break.
when it was applying to him, they said retard, so it had a real sense of dignity to it.
He's Richarded, if you will.
Retarded.
But
I'll allow that pun.
It's a good pun.
thank you very much.
It's a winning pun.
You're a good dude. Huge bush. Christy, take us
Yes.
down under.
Okay, so this one is from Pink Bee.
Oof.
Yep, incredibly boring. I love true crime podcasts, and I was really interested in listening to the episode 3 story. That was our Sharon Lopotka story.
Yes.
I got to 15 minutes and had to stop. It was 10 minutes of mind-numbing, irrelevant, boring information, 5 minutes of actual relevant information. Also, they were laughing so much at nothing funny. Not one funny thing was said. I think they are just starting out, so maybe they will mature with time.
Just like fine
Like a
wine.
fine wine. Oh, jinx.
Just like milk.
We have aged like milk, though. You're correct. So
Just curdling.
I don't disagree. Pink Bee, you know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Not one of us is
Pink
funny.
Bee, why don't you come give us a churn and make us butter since we're such
And-
sour milk?
You did it. You brought the butter into it. I love it. What I'm going to say, though, if Pink Bee, I would love, we can actually, maybe I'm overstepping my lines because I didn't cross this past the girls yet, but if you want to come on the show and be a guest and show us how to be funny, that'd be awesome too. I would really
Amazing.
appreciate
Yep.
that. Yeah, come on, you know?
Yeah,
You're
Just
more than
throw
welcome.
down the outwitting gauntlet. That's what's
Yeah.
been thrown down. The outwitting gauntlet. It's been
Make
cast.
your move.
And furthermore, Pink Bee, you know, I was there for that episode, and it seems to me that selling her panties on the internet and maybe making porn, perhaps not making porn, that's actually very relevant information. So if you could clarify that for me.
Hey, man, everyone has, we're not for everyone, which is fine in my opinion, but I mean, like, just come on. We'll invite everyone on. Before you give a shitty review, come on and hang out with us. That's what I say, you know?
If you what, if you hate this podcast, okay, or if you like this podcast and you know somebody who hates this podcast, bring them on. They can say whatever they want to us. We will welcome them, even if they're coming here just to fucking be an asshole. They can come on. We're okay with it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And because I'm a person right now, the world's so fucking divided. I'm listening and talking to everyone. I don't give a fuck. I want to listen and understand everyone. I really do. I legitimately, my life right now is, I don't care what your views are. Let's all talk, because we're all in a shitty situation. And if you want to come on the show and fucking yell at us because we did something, we'll talk to you and maybe you'll understand more. You know, that's all I want. I'd be cool with that.
I just want to hurt your feelings.
Repeatedly. Over and over and over.
I just want a full 60 minutes to hurt your feelings because I can't respond on the episode.
Yeah. That's
All right, we're gonna bring it home with Kata. Kata, and that spelled backwards is Hatak. And Kata posed the question: "This is supposed to be funny?" And Kata, no, this is not. They say that they love true crime and comedy, but that we are not funny. So thank you. But they did say that we're annoying. Now, I do apologize for that. There was no subcategory of annoying on Apple Podcast. So if you can take it up with them, and as soon as they put it in, we will absolutely change our subcategory. We will do that for you. So thank you so much for that constructive feedback.
It's been a fun couple months with you guys. I'm happy we started doing this together, just so you guys know, so I can see it on the record.
Well, I'm having a fucking good time. No one else is. Whatever.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Yeah.
But
Totally
Americans,
fucking.
go rate us 5 stars, please. That'd be very happy. Be very nice.
Learn the fucking metric system.
So fucking true. Like, who do we think we are? Like, literally the only country in the world that doesn't use the metric system. What a bunch of assholes. I mean, that says it all.
Thanks to everyone that has given us 5-star reviews and
For
ratings.
sure.
We love you all. You all have massively huge bushes. So, and thank you for listening. And we're enjoying ourselves, and we're going to keep doing it. So hopefully you all keep listening and inviting more people to listen. Don't we have something special for people at the end of this season?
Yeah, so we'll let Richard talk about his surprise for us, but this is going to be our season finale, and we are going to be dropping this, and then we're going to be dropping a little something else, and then we're going to take a week off. We're going to catch up on our bonus content. Our Patreon is blowing up with content. There's so much extra stuff on there now. It's a great time to join and enjoy the benefits, before we start obviously getting flooded, because we're going to be super fucking popular.
Oh my God.
Huge.
But and one of those reasons why is because of Richard's new little project.
Yes, I'm super excited about this, guys. We are doing me, RJ McCarthy, and Rick Getz. RJ, his name's Richard, and Rick is also Richard. So we decided to solve mysteries together, guys. We're going to be solving mysteries on Patreon through my new show called, it's our new show. All three of us, plus everyone at the Unethicals family. It's Private Dicks. Us three dicks, we're taking the biggest crimes, unsolved crimes. We're just crushing. We're solving them for the guys because people are having a hard time with this stuff. And you know what? We decided we're the people to solve these. You've got some crazy episodes coming up. Our pilot episode is about a pilot, Amelia Earhart. We know what happened. Don't worry about her. But there's other episodes already. There's 3 in the tank already, guys. So come check that out. You're gonna love it.
Sleuthing. I like it.
And that's what we're dropping on Saturday, right? Is Amelia. So if anyone wants to go listen to that, they're gonna fucking love it. And it's just a teaser episode. The rest are all gonna be behind our Patreon. So I think she was an amazing woman. You guys will see why. I put a lot of I shouldn't say I put super lots of work, but I tried really hard to make these really fun. So, and RJ and Rick have been nothing but amazing, hilarious both ways. So you guys are gonna love it. I think you guys are gonna love it. The first 3 episodes are all 3 bangers right off the top. They're awesome. Right off the bat.
What's it called? Small Town Dicks?
No, it's called Small Dick Town, actually.
Oh, Small Dick Town. Dickville?
Yes.
Small Dickville. Yeah.
Private Dicks. Thanks. Yeah, we should base our operations in Dickville. Anyways,
I mean, definitely.
We'll put a pin in it. Richard, can I borrow your dick?
Excuse me, sir. May I borrow your dick? Yes, you can.
So polite about it too.
I'm super excited for it, man. I can't wait to hear it. I'm so excited.
Oh, good.
Yeah, for anybody who's listened this far, you'll remember Mr. RJ McCarthy from our Roswell episode and Mr. Rick Getz from Conrad Roy and Dominic Ramsey. So I think you can gauge from their performances a little bit what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you ask Rick Getz what his weaknesses are, there would be none. So
if you ask Rick Getz what his weaknesses are, he would Google it.
Oh, he's that guy. Hold on. Wait 1 second.
Yeah. Oh God.
I love them both. Well, if you want to get Bob to talk about Defense Diaries, and then we can get into it if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right, we have Bob.
Hey, hi guys. Thanks for having me. I'm a big fan of the show. My name is Bob Motta, and relatively new podcaster out there. I've got a little show that we're doing. We call it Defense Diaries. Real briefly, basically, this first season, what we're doing is my father, when I was 21, gave me 15 audio cassettes, and those cassettes contained 15 hours of his interviews, my father's interviews with serial killer John Wayne Gacy, as he was one of his trial attorneys. So they're pretty fucking unique, and I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to do something different. There's been so much Gacy shit out there, and it's been a part of my life for 40 years. It's weird. It's like when I'm interviewing all these cops and the state's attorneys and everyone, it's like there's kind of a weird kinship, I would say, where I definitely have a different relationship with them than, like when any of these other guys are coming in, like just the straight documentarians doing it, like they really fucking open up. to the extent where, like, I was telling Richard, we got a fucking bombshell, like a mind-blowing bombshell that, like, we're gonna drop, I think, in the next episode. It's like fucking unbelievable. I can't even believe it. Yeah, it's
Awesome. I'm
pretty
so
cool.
excited.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts, Bob, about a lot of things, and serial killers are how I started into this thing. And I've listened to so much Gacy shit, and it was super awesome to hear your tapes, because it's Gacy behind the fucking scenes.
Right.
I like it. It's so crazy because
Yeah.
I don't know where you go with his, like, Officer Bob, whatever the fuck he calls himself. He tries to give himself a
Jack
nickname
Hanley.
or whatever. That's what it is, Jack Hanley.
Yeah.
I hope I don't know where you go with it. I care to spoil it for everyone, but it's very unique, and I love it. I think
appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Yeah,
It's so great.
I'm trying to kind of
Yeah.
do it through, like, because everyone's beat to death the shit with, like, Gacy, and, like, everyone knows the fucking story. Everything I ever watch and read is always like, he lived in Iowa, he got convicted of sodomy, it's like the same shit. So I'm really kind of focusing on the investigation, because, the guy killed for what we know 6 years. I tend to think it was a lot longer than that, but at least what we know, and these fucking Des Plaines cops got him in 10 days. The Chicago police shit the fucking bed, like shit the fucking bed. Like the last 2 episodes, I'm fucking like raining on those motherfuckers, because they shit the bed. They would have had him in 75 if they would have gotten off their ass and done anything, and then again in 77 with 2, because it was the same shit. Like with the last kid who went missing, the difference between him and most of his victims was that the kid was, like, accounted for. Good student, fucking athlete, good looking kid. His fucking parents are like, dude, my kid didn't run away. You need to fucking do something now. So that was kind of, and it was outside of the city of Chicago, so it was like in a suburb. So they were able to, like, have a different police force look into it, and it made a big difference, man. But yeah.
All right. So today we're talking about a subject that's very close to my heart, witches. So for me, when I think of a witch, Fleetwood Mac's Rhiannon starts playing in my head, and sandalwood fills the air, and I get the urge to get naked under the full moon. But it's okay. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. It's 8 o'clock in the morning here, and it's fucking freezing. So I won't be taking off my clothes. So don't worry. But so I'll stay all snug in my jacket and talk a little bit about the Salem witches. So, who unfortunately for them didn't have the amazing Stevie Nicks as a soundtrack, as they were boiling and bubbling and causing trouble. So, how about you guys? What do you think a witch is? What comes to your mind when you think of witches?
Mrs. Anderson.
The humanity. Oh wait, she hates the F-bombs. I think witches are fucking super cool. I always have. I've always liked witches and warlocks, and I like the concept of being able to create potions that make people do shit. I mean, to me that sounds super fucking awesome. So, like, I'd love to find, like, a book of spells. That would be fucking amazing. I hope that they exist, like that. Like, I really do. Like, I hope that there are people that can actually
magic.
Like,
you want magic out there?
100 fucking percent.
There's magic.
There has to be, right?
Yeah, for sure. What I think of with witches is automatically Bette Midler, because of Hocus Pocus. And that's a legit
best movie.
It's amazing.
Such a great film.
It's a great one. So I automatically think just pop culture shit, because that's inundated. I'm an 80s child, just jammed full of pop culture.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, but I mean, I'm old enough to have enjoyed The Wizard of Oz probably 10 million times growing up. So it's like that was like,
we were talking about that before. Richard said he watched it again recently, and it stands the test of time.
It does. It really is time.
One of the best films ever made.
It really
honestly.
is. It's fucking. It was way ahead of its time. Let me ask you this: when you guys think of witches, do you think in terms of them being evil, or are they good? I mean, to me, they've always, like, there's kind of that Wiccan thing going on where they're real in touch with, all things nature, and the earth, and they seem to have a great respect for that, and the cycles of the moon and all that kind of cool shit.
I always think of like a middle-aged woman that smells like shit, even though her house is full of sage.
We're talking about
crystals.
Yeah.
bog witches. Ah. Anyways.
No, I'm not.
No,
talking
not
about them.
old women, middle-aged women. Middle-aged women with like multicolored hair. They smell like shit. They don't shave their pits. They have a bajillion fucking candles. That's what I think of when I think of witches.
As far as whether they're good or bad, I think that's their perspective on you. So be nice all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I was gonna say. I think I don't think evil or good.
Or sitting in the room right
Yeah,
now.
they have the power to go either way. So
I'm just gonna say right now, I don't fucking buy into witches. Okay.
No,
okay.
I think I do. I think that there's something to it.
If I am dead Thursday, which is
All right, you're on the fucking clock.
I don't fucking believe in you witches. Come at me.
I'm coming.
If there's a witch out there listening, we're putting you to the test.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Right. Exactly.
Which is like dogs.
Are you implying that you're a witch, Tally? Okay, well, come at me, bitch. I'll say it to your face.
So in America there was heaps of witchy stuff going on all over the country. But as much as I love talking about witches, it would take me an entire podcast to talk about everything that was going on. So we'll just focus on the little town of Salem. And also just a disclaimer for any listeners that are expecting a massively intense, deep historical dive into the subject, then you obviously haven't listened to our podcast before. So I would recommend you going and checking out the History Channel, and if you want a serious and rather intelligent take on the witch trials, because
I would watch Monty Python's The Holy Grail. That's where you're going to get the best information.
Most accurate as well.
And Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. Exactly.
My pretties.
And your little dog too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that went down like in the late 1600s, right? Like 1690.
Yeah, so it started in the spring of I keep saying 1962. It's not. It's 1692. A group of young girls claimed that they'd been possessed by demons that had been sent into them by several local women. Over the next several months, 150 men, women, children, and dogs were accused of witchcraft. One poor doggy was shot after a young girl accused him of bewitching her when he looked at her funny.
Oh man, not the livestock, George.
This is so sad. The dog sat and we had to shoot him. That's a witchcraft. He sat. I said sit and he sat. I don't like it.
He listened.
I thought witches like dogs. My bad.
I love dogs.
Oh, witches like dogs.
Yeah, it's the townspeople. It's people with pitchforks that don't like dogs.
I thought witches like cats. Isn't that their fucking jam?
Witches have familiars. They like all sorts of animals.
Yeah.
But let's not get into it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I disagree. Let's fucking get into it.
Totally.
Mine's a big black dog named Max.
They just wanted to eat it.
The gato.
Probably.
Yeah.
The gato.
The famine was getting to him.
Yeah.
And there was a guy named John Bradstreet. He'd also been accused as being a witch, and apparently he was using his dog to terrorize people in the town by riding him around as a spectre. So they couldn't see John, but the dog was a little bit skitty and ran around the town quite a lot. So apparently that was John riding the dog's back. And so unfortunately the dog was...
Leave the dogs out of this.
It's sad.
Yeah, why the dog? Put down John.
Yeah.
Yes, well, he didn't want the same fate, so he left town, obviously.
I thought you were gonna say he didn't want to be killed, so he said no.
He's like,
And they
I'll
were
decide.
Okay. The dog was like, yeah, I'm down.
Did he leave a Dear John letter and just took off? Oh, see what I did there? Wow, what a dad joke. What a fucking dad joke. Thanks,
So-
man.
Considering the population of Salem was only 1,400 people, 150 is a lot of people
For sure.
to be accused of being witches. You know,
This is like the equivalent of like calling the fucking city because someone's grass is overgrown. That's how you settle your disputes. You're like, witch, their dog barks, witch, woke me up 5 o'clock this morning,
yeah.
witch.
that's pretty much exactly what was going on.
Yeah, it was a catch-all. Like if you did anything a little off, you were a fucking witch. You know, I mean, that's essentially what was going on.
I find there's a little bit something interesting that I never even realized before about these Salem things. I thought it was all women. I didn't understand that there was men involved in this. This is some weird.
No, there was men.
I get that after you said that, but that in my brain, I never put 2 and 2 together that like a guy would have been accused of witchcraft, because usually guys are the ones oppressing, right? They're the ones like women oppress, you know. I mean, you're a witch, and then that's how we did it in history.
That's true.
Stronger.
Richard, I thought the exact same shit, and then when you told me we were going to kind of be, you know, delving into this, I did a little research because I'm not a fucking moron. So, and I was surprised to see the exact same thing. I was like, wow, yeah, because I thought the same shit. I thought that was kind of like the birth of how men started oppressing women. You know, like it was like, oh, you know, she's on her fucking period and acting off, she's a fucking witch type shit, you know, and it was like,
but that would have started like thousands of years before this.
You ever read a little thing called the Bible?
I'm only talking about America.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. This was just America's turn.
Yeah, because
okay.
Because remember, they didn't have the interwebs back in 1692. So in terms of oppression all over the world, I mean,
I know cavemen were stronger than the cave women, so cavemen did whatever they wanted. You know,
you don't know shit. You assume.
Yeah, we don't fucking know that, dude. We're guessing.
They're all nice.
We're guessing. You know, it's like none of us were there. I could guarantee you that not one historian since, you know, they put pen to paper was during the caveman times. You know, so it's all speculation, really. To be honest with you.
Just looking at past history of how dudes treat women, it's not like the 1600s is when that's what I was saying. Like, I'm sure you can go back. Exactly. It's less to just the Bible, you know?
What if cave people, the women were actually like the bigger ones and the ones that like had total fucking dominance over the men, and then the men revolted and took out all the toughest women, and that's why all the women are now smaller than men, except for yours truly. I'm large, but most you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely a concept. Totally.
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
It's just why haven't anyways, it's just like, if that's the way that could happen, why haven't the women done it back to the men
because we aren't inherently violent. That's not how we react to things.
Maybe the women were the inherently violent ones, and we all got the inherently violent women all together and took them all out. Now you're
that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Right, we're doing the same thing now. Women are still revolting. We're just doing it in a way that's fucking dumb. Feminism is stupid, but you know what I'm saying.
I got you. I'm on board.
So men like instinctually fight or flight. Women instinctually tend and befriend.
Anyways, I was just surprised guys were involved in the witch thing. That's all.
Yeah, I was.
I brought up like all the social issues in the world right now with that. My fault.
No, that's good. I mean, isn't that what we're talking about?
I assume it was a gay thing.
Maybe.
My assumption.
I mean, that's not funny,
but this was how they chose.
Yeah, that'd be so stupid. Yeah,
sodomizers.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the other interesting thing is, you know, we were, at least America was still under British rule at that point. So it's like, in terms of there being trials, you know, as far as the jurisprudence side of it, they're not like the trials that, like, obviously this is, you know, 80 years before the Constitution was drafted. So whatever, you know, what was constituting a trial back then was going to be basically, you know, no fucking jury, you know, one clown deciding, oh, you're a fucking witch.
Yeah.
and we're gonna hang you. You know, the other thing that I always, in my mind, when I thought about it, I always thought, because you always heard about burning witches at the stake, and then I was surprised to know that they were all hanged.
Yeah.
At least what I read is they were hanged,
Yes.
not burnt at the stake. So, you
I
know,
thought they only burned heretics at the stake.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, Queen
I
Mary.
wasn't there.
Queen Mary burnt heretics at the stake.
Queen Mary was fucked. We're gonna cover her on an exclusive episode.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she was insane.
All right, sorry, I derailed that whole thing with my man stuff.
No, that's okay. That's what we do here. So two young girls, Elizabeth Parris and Abigail Williams, began exhibiting incredibly strange behavior, including violent contortions, fits, and uncontrollable outbursts of screaming. So the town's local doctor, William Griggs, declared bewitchment as the diagnosis. So thus began the onslaught of other young women exhibiting the same symptoms. And 3 women were arrested as witches: homeless woman Sarah Good, the Paris's Caribbean slave Tituba, and an old woman, Sarah Osborne, who Elizabeth and Abigail had originally pointed out as the one that had bewitched them.
Does anyone know when the concept of a witch came to be? You know what I mean? Was it 1,000 years prior? They'd been, there's when did the idea of somebody being a witch, when did that kind of take hold, in the human psyche?
I'm gonna fall back on my go-to and say the Bible.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure there's witches in the Bible. I'm pretty sure there's witches as far back as any type of, well, maybe not called witches, but seers.
They were described, as almost like oracles, old crones, who hung out in groups of 3, and
yeah, that's interesting.
So Elizabeth Parris was the daughter of Samuel Parris, who was the Salem village minister, and Abigail was his niece, and they all lived in the same home. So the 3 women that were accused, Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne and Tituba, the slave, were brought before magistrates Jonathan Corwin and John Hawthorne. While they were being questioned, Elizabeth and Abigail were in the court, and they were screaming and writhing around, and their bodies were contorting and spasming. So, so they were putting on a good show in front of the judges while these women were trying to be questioned.
It's really bothering me that every woman's name is Sarah and every man's name is John or Jonathan.
I know. Yeah. So that's why I had to write Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne, because I couldn't just, it's confusing. Right. Both the Sarahs denied the charges, but Tituba confessed, most likely to save herself from being convicted by actually ratting out other townswomen. She claimed that they were all in service to the devil against the Puritan townspeople, and Tituba told vivid tales about Satan revealing himself to her and making her sign the devil's book with her own blood. And she stated that in the book she saw Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne's names. So, and then people just started going nuts. And other women, Martha Corey and Rebecca Nurse, as well as Sarah Good's 4-year-old daughter, were brought before the court. And then they also then started naming other women in the town.
So sorry, before we get too far, before I'm confused. And Tally did say this earlier, but I was gonna let it go, but we have to talk about it. So this is the Caribbean slave who admitted to it and got everyone
yes.
So obviously they said the black girl bewitched the white girls.
Yes,
of course. The fucking racism thing, man. It always comes up.
Always.
It's so crazy.
No. Black women are very bewitching. I mean, they're just. Have you ever just watched? They're mesmerizing.
Well, and plus, she came from the Caribbean. I mean, so we know that voodoo was heavy duty, in Haiti, a lot of Caribbean countries. That the black magic shit was for real.
She's like, guess what? You guys don't know what I can do with a coconut. Ha!
Right. I will fuck some shit up.
Do you think she was like, she actually legitimately thought she was a witch then? Or do you think she just admitted to this shit to get out of being a fucking slave and just end it now because I'm over this shit?
I mean, maybe it was
Probably.
a little bit of both, you know?
Why would that get her out of it?
Mm.
Oh, because she's
Because they're going to hang her.
Yeah, she admitted, and she was like, everyone else. And then she sees a way to get revenge on all her white masters being like, they're a witch too. They're a witch. Now they all fucking die with me. Fuck you all.
no,
I'm done.
100%. They fucking beat her into confessing, and then they wanted more names. So they probably beat her into just naming names. Or she didn't fucking say anything, and they just picked people that they didn't like because they hit on her, and she said, fuck off. And they were like, well, you know what? You're a witch.
I like Richard's theory. I think that's. I mean, it's a good plan. It's a good fucking plan. You know, I mean, it's a way to get out of, like, if you're calling it a day, like, I'm done with this slave shit. You know, I'd rather fucking be dead. Like, it's probably a good.
Then you can take out everyone with you, but
right.
She's probably right. She was probably so loyal. They went, you to admit to it so we can get off. And then they didn't realize that it was going to go as far as it did. And went, no, now we're all implicated. Oops. I tried to.
This is ridiculous. This is like fucking life and death telephone.
Yeah. Now we're all going
Exactly.
down. Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say it was like their babysitter was like teaching them this little game that she knows or something, and then
Yeah,
they
it
just
could be
blow,
that too.
blow it out of proportion. And it's like, you're teaching them bad things. You're
Yeah.
gonna
And,
burn
you know,
now,
like,
or whatever.
everyone who came from England
Hang.
was puritanical as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was like
Yeah.
the thing that we were trying to escape coming to America. And remember, they were not sending the best and the brightest from England, you know, to colonize the
No.
United States, man. It was like,
It's kind of like Australia now. You know what I mean? Not the best or the brightest. Just kidding.
good day, mate.
Yeah, that and like so they're so puritanical that they can use like Satan as an excuse to do this shit too, right? Like
Totally.
yeah, it's anyways.
So the governor of Massachusetts, William Phipps, ordered the establishment of a court to hear all the cases that were popping up in counties around and in Salem. So there were 6 people hanged in July, 6 in August, and then 8 in September. And another 7 accused died in jail. And an elderly man, Giles Corey, who was Martha Corey's husband, was pressed to death by stones after he refused to enter a plea. So he would not confess either way if he was or wasn't a witch, so they just killed him anyway.
So what does that mean? They just stacked rocks on him?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's such a crazy fucking way to kill somebody.
That's it. That is a fucking horrible way to die.
Like they'd ask him, like, who do you
Gross.
work for?
Right. Eyeballs popping out.
And then he wouldn't answer, so they'd add another rock. And then they'd be like, who do you work for?
Get the heavy rock. Get the big fucking boulder over there.
We need a bigger rock.
Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger rock. So, did these people have representation? Like, were there any kind of barristers? I mean, what the fuck is going on?
I love that the lawyer asks that question.
Yeah, are you ambulance chasing? Are you ambulance chasing right now?
Always.
400 years in the future?
Always.
Always.
I mean, shit, dude.
Bob's like, man, if I was around in 1692, I would have got them all off.
Fucking rich. Be fucking rich. Yeah, I mean, but on the serious, like, was it like who was sitting in judgment? Was it like one fucking dude? Was it like this Hawthorne cat?
Bob,
like,
it was
just-
the elements. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. It rained. You're
Yep.
guilty. What? Oh.
The wind blows in 10 seconds.
I do have their names written down somewhere, but I can't find them
You'll
right
get
now.
to it, eh?
But yeah, there was two judges. So there was 2 men.
How fucking scary is that?
So the first woman that was actually tried properly as a witch was Bridget Bishop. So some historians claim that this was because her second husband's family wanted to claim the property that he'd left her. So they just went around saying that she was a witch until she got arrested, because they literally just wanted her thrown out of the house because they wanted it. But she was acquitted of those charges early on. But others classified her as somewhat of a floozy and rather unsavory and not very ladylike due to the fact that she associated with the wrong type of people and hosted drinking and gambling parties.
Dude, I would have been fucking hanging out with that chick all the time.
Hanging, literally.
Yeah, absolutely. She sounds like my type of lady. So, and she also fought publicly with her then third husband, and sometimes she did this while she was wearing a scarlet bodice.
Oh boy.
So we all know what that means.
No. What does that mean?
She was
Naked?
She was a
She was a
whore.
lady of the night.
Oh.
A whore.
She was a whore.
I was like, oh, she was just yelling at her husband naked? Okay. I do that all the time. So.
Sounds like she was a little mouthy, and little mouthy. You couldn't be mouthy if you were a woman back in the 1690s. Apparently,
No,
they
not at all.
They got you hanged.
So on April 16th, she was arrested, and she was accused by several men of appearing as a spectre. There's that word again, and frightening them in their homes. Apparently, she would appear at the end of their bed and threaten their lives.
She just goes,
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh no, there's a floating white sheet. What should we do? Quick, hide under the floating white sheet.
Yeah, I just like guys going like, she came into my room at night and scared me. But can you do a witch? They came to my room and scared me back. Like they're like little big babies. Like that's what you can hang people for, is because they scared you in the night as a specter. Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, they were hanging people that like just rejected the puritanical bullshit. It's that simple. You know, I mean, like,
they were shooting people's dogs, man. They would just go and hell for leather.
We're talking about the lack of humanity. I mean, come on, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's like, you're dog killers. It says it all, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't need to know any more about.
I forgot about the dog part.
Yeah, I mean, can't forget about that. Shit sticks with you.
So she was convicted pretty much straight away, and on June 8th, and sentenced to death. And she was executed on Gallows Hill only 2 days later. So on June 10th, they hanged her.
Due process, not so much.
Mm-hmm. So, and then another lady, Martha Carrier, was accused, most likely because the town absolutely hated her guts. So apparently it was her fault that smallpox came to Salem. She apparently bewitched people with smallpox. And the authorities went as far as interrogating and torturing her 2 teenage sons, ultimately leading them to confess to practicing witchcraft with their mother. So
by their logic, they should have called every North American settler witches for bringing smallpox to the people that were there. Anyways,
I mean, it's I mean, didn't smallpox just cause smallpox? Yeah. I mean, it's
we brought it over.
Yeah.
We brought it.
Oh, dude, we brought it all.
Yeah.
Like, what are you kidding?
Yeah,
like,
us whites brought it over.
The worst. We're the worst of all time.
Herpes, all that good shit.
All of it. Like,
Herpes.
we it was the disease that killed more of the Native Americans than, the fighting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we took a lot of their buffalo. So
yeah.
Just to make a Skull Mountain. So
right, exactly. It's fucked up.
So she was described by Cotton Mather as a rampant hag who aspired to be the queen of hell. So, and she was convicted on the same day as 2 prominent males that had been accused, John Proctor and Reverend George Burroughs. They were suspected as being the actual ringleaders of the Salem witches. So they were all executed on August 19th in 1692.
She aspired to be the queen of hell, and so they sent her there.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna kill me with that title, I'm going down as Queen of the Damned.
Right.
Peace.
All right. I'm going home.
Yeah. Hell, Satan. I love this girl. She was probably like, yeah, let me ride the fucking train down to hell. But she didn't say train. It was like carriage.
Didn't they just say this about her? This isn't something she said about herself. This is what they said about her.
It was actually it was the very prominent and well-known Mr. Cotton Mather. So he was a Puritan minister and author. Apparently, he was a very intelligent and respected man who promoted the use of immunizations against smallpox.
Cotton?
Was he?
Yeah.
Sounds like a total
His
douchebag.
first name was Cotton, as in the stuff you make clothes out of.
Yeah, it says it all
So
right
when
there.
Cotton kills an old bitch, he's a hero. But when Bernie does it, he goes to jail for his whole life? That's bullshit.
That is
That's the
bullshit.
difference 400 years can make.
Mhm.
I mean, Bernie did shoot her 4 times in the back, though. You know, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't fucking crush her to death with stones. You tell me who's the worst guy.
Yeah, and he was incredibly supportive of the trials. He actually was instrumental in the construction of the courts. He promoted and celebrated them, stating that it was God's justice and God's glorification.
God. Religious zealotry. Scary.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's
scary.
just-
Well, this is why I don't believe in good or evil.
yeah.
This is why I think it's all man-made, because 400 years ago, people that were just outside of the lines were the evil ones. Now it's like serial, like, yes, sure, shit's inherently evil. I'll give it that. Like Gacy, for example, evil motherfucker.
Right.
But maybe a 1,000 years ago, he might have been very useful to go fighting on a battlefield and go scare the shit out of the next town over. He might have been a fucking soldier. You don't
Totally.
know, right? And he wouldn't have been. So
True.
Gacy today, sure, evil monster. 1,000 years ago, a very useful tool into fucking with the enemy,
For
right?
sure.
So
Mhm.
just my I don't buy into good or bad. That's anyways.
I think Gacy would have been a priest.
Yeah,
Would have
exactly.
been a priest. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Not no warrior.
Court jester, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
That whole fucking clown thing going on. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, like,
He
look,
is a loser.
yeah, definitely. Well, you know, if he was back in Roman times, you know, it was the reality. And I was having a conversation with one of these detectives, and he's like, "Look, man, you know, the thing about pedophilia is like if you look back at ancient Rome, like teenage boys were fucking groomed to get banged by like the fucking, you know,
Mhm.
everybody higher up in society. It was like that was the
Yep.
culture, you know. So it's like
Every house had a male sex
always,
slave,
exactly,
a young male sex
exactly,
slave, basically.
exactly.
Yep.
So it's like when we like our puritanical value in America is still puritanical as fuck. I remember the first time I went over to Europe and like I saw titties on a commercial like on regular TV. I was like, what's
Yeah.
happening? I'm like, you know, it's like
Yeah,
America
just sitting down having lunch and there's just boobs on the TV.
right
Yeah,
there.
it's
I'm like,
crazy.
wow, it was crazy. And
Yep.
I was like, I didn't realize how really puritanical America still is, like to this day.
Mm.
You know, I mean, it really like the value system is like born out of like what we're talking about right now, you know, and it's like, I mean, they you know, like their medical care in terms of like mental illness, which was obviously that was prevalent. I'm sure it still existed in the 60s. You know, I mean, mental illness was a thing. We had no.
Oh, it sounded
ideas
like
we
they were extremely paranoid.
totally. Yeah, exactly.
Let's just kill everyone in town because they're all witches and we
Yeah,
can't
right, 'cause
pinpoint who's
hypnotism
who
is a new
anymore.
thing.
Everyone
Yeah,
named
right.
Sarah, line up. Everyone named John, line up.
Yeah. So Mr. Mather considered witches to be among the poor, vile, and ragged beggars upon the earth, and anyone that was against the trials was said to be witch advocates. I actually don't think he was talking about witches. I think he was just meaning women in general,
Oh,
because he strikes me as that type of guy.
I mean, yeah,
So
yeah. In that context, for sure.
yeah, so he was all about it. He loved it.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about my favorite part of the trials, and that was the things that they used to figure out how people were witches, the witch tests.
Oh,
So-
God.
To determine whether someone was a witch or not, the court designed a series of really intense and honestly completely weird things for them to go through. So the first one that they thought was a good idea was the swimming test. So accused witches were dragged to the nearest body of water and stripped to their undergarments. They then would be bound and tossed into the water to see if they sank or floated.
Oh
The
my
brilliant
God.
logic behind this was that it was believed witches have spurned the sacrament of baptism, so the water would reject their body and prevent them from becoming submerged. The innocent person would obviously sink like a stone, proving that they were not a witch. So cool. Shame they'd be dead because they would
they drowned.
drown.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a win-win.
So
Counterintuitive.
Do you think these guys were like weird serial killers? Like, this sounds like a ritual. You know what I mean? It sounds like he wanted to watch it and he jerked off to it after. It sounds like
it sounds
Totally.
like something a witch would do to someone.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it was. Maybe there was only one witch in the town of Salem, and it was Cotton. This is how they killed.
Oh, we figured it out. We figured out the entire trials.
Celeste
It was him.
just is picking them off one by one.
He was
Crack
the
the
fucking Wizard
case.
of Oz, man.
Pay no attention to the man behind the cotton.
Perfect. So the next one was the touch test. This involved the accused laying their hands on a possessed person when they were in the throes of fits. If nothing happened, so if the person continued to fit, then they were innocent. But if the victim came out of the fit, it proved that the accused had put them under the spell in the first place.
I would rather die than touch another human being in 1662 or 1692.
I mean, I don't know about
Yeah.
you guys, but both those tests seem completely viable to me. Like, I mean, like, totally fucking
so
viable.
logical.
I mean, nailed it.
Yeah.
Fucking just figured that shit out.
why'd we ever give this up?
Right,
Why'd
I
we ever
mean,
stop doing this?
Like, I think we need
This
to
is-
get a fucking, petition.org or whatever the fucking site is and get a petition going to bring these tests back. Fucking sniff out all the witches because that shit is foolproof, obviously.
But we like witches now.
I've always loved witches. I loved witches back in it was probably my 7th life ago, back in like 1692. I was a total.
I just wish
was
witches
total
weren't so
fucking
gullible, because it's like, all right, so we're gonna play a card game, and if I pull a black card out, you lose. If I pull a red card out, I win.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Which
That sounds real. That's logical.
Exactly.
That's good.
That's
I'm
what they
ready to
did to
play.
these
Let's go.
poor people. Ugh,
Exactly. Yeah.
don't be gullible.
is that the moral of the story?
So far, I guess.
Yeah.
I,
I think it was a lack of power, It's like you have some fucking heretic, lunatic, puritanical fucking guy who's running the shit. And, it's like you get one quasi alpha guy who's, espousing the word of God, and just killing it well. Yeah. I think it's for certain he was a, serial killer. I mean, proof's in the pudding. Just because he was doing it in front of other people doesn't mean that he wasn't fucking a serial killer. The guy clearly liked killing people.
I think there just wasn't any fucking thing else to do.
For real.
that
Like,
could be part of
Probably.
it.
This is Netflix.
right.
Exactly. And coming up with new and weird ways to test if someone's a witch is the new season of Netflix. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
so, oh wow, what's the next one, Christy? I can't wait to hear what kind of assholes.
It's like Dragon's Den, where people were coming
Yeah.
in with all their cool ways to torture and kill witches, and they had to decide which ones they would fund. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in
Love it.
1664, we'd all watch that. It'd be
Totally.
awesome. They probably did.
Binge the fuck out of that.
Well, the next one they used was they actually used the Bible, because they apparently accused witches would not be able to read anything from the Bible without fucking up. So they were made to read scriptures out in court without making any errors. And if they made mistakes or fumbled their words, this proved that they were in league with the devil.
I have a question.
Yes, my love.
What was the literacy rate of this town?
I was just about to
This
say,
town. What was the literacy rate of America? Nothing.
it could have something to do with the fact that about 5% of the population in 1692 could actually read and write.
Right.
So, but hey, don't let facts stand in the way of a good witch hanging.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right.
Could you just imagine though, like trying to get off and like read the Bible, and you're just like, Jesus was a cool guy. And he was like died for us, right? I'm saying the right thing, aren't I? You're witch.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Like, what Bible story do I remember? Oh, Noah put his kid into slavery. I remember that one.
Right.
Yeah. Some other guy tried to kill his son.
And an apple. There was an apple in there somewhere. Some kind of apple.
There was a snake in a tree, and then some woman bit the head off of it.
They raped the angels.
Witch.
Yes.
We learned some Bible facts.
Witch.
They raped the angels. Witch.
So, one of the tests was actually designed by the slave Tituba. It was called a witch cake, and it's not as yummy as it sounds.
Damn it.
So,
There it is.
in cases of mysterious illness or possession, witch hunters would take a sample of the victim's urine, mix it with ashes and rye meal, and bake it into a cake. And then this gross mix was fed to the familiar or animal helper of the accused witch, hoping that the animal would fall under a spell and then magically reveal the name of the guilty sorcerer.
Wow.
So apparently this cake would make animals talk.
Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done.
But basically all it did was make the animal incredibly sick.
So they just start torturing animals. It is a bunch of serial killers. They're just
Totally.
torturing animals nonstop.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
You know what? I've eaten many an ice cream cake till I puked. It's not torture if you like it.
what were the statistics on the cake test there? Like, how many people were convicted on the cake test? I'm curious. Like, how many animals
I'm
started
unsure.
speaking? Did they say? Like 7 people died because of the cake test. The talking
I'm
animal test.
unsure of how many it actually worked for, but Tituba used it on Sarah Good, but all it did, it did nothing to make people think Sarah was a witch, but it caused more trouble for Tituba, because then they were like, wait a minute, how does she know to do this? She's obviously a witch.
Damn it. Witches are so gullible.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that none of the animals actually talked, we're still going to go ahead and call you a witch.
Why piss? Why? What's your thing with piss, Tichta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wichita. That really is your name.
What's that about?
Maybe it's a Caribbean thing. Maybe. Who knows? It's like a special recipe in the Caribbean.
Blood, excrement, piss, all that kind of stuff is really big in the occult. It's way to do ritual, and blood is the best way to do something. Piss and shit and stuff like that is a way, but it's not as good. Cum's a big thing in the occult. Seriously, it is. Jizz is a very powerful part to magic spells.
Yeah, it's the man seed.
That's
It's
who.
the man seed. It's the strength of the man.
Menstrual blood and shit too is powerful. It's just occult stuff's occult's like really like, I'm sure it's evolved a lot since then, but it's still got its roots in
Eroticism.
magic and
Sexuality.
eroticism. Yeah, and all the human body and
There's nothing magical about that. There is nothing erotic about that. That is, I'm so much happier before.
it's just that it goes along with it, right? Like, anyways, we could do a whole thing on magic, which is not researched enough by me right now, but
I'd literally have to do an entire series if we wanted to go into that stuff, because there's just so much.
Yeah, bodily
much.
fluids were definitely a thing. There's no question about it.
The last one we have is the witches' marks. So accused witches were stripped and publicly examined for blemishes that were apparently received after making a pact with the devil. This devil's mark could supposedly move around on the body, change color and size, and was also impervious to pain.
So acne.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, that's just a pimple, a big pimple on my back. Please don't kill me.
They'd also searched for the witch's teat, a
Ooh.
third nipple that was used to feed their animal helpers. So basically, any minor imperfection on a person's body could be labeled as a mark from the devil. Scars, birthmarks, moles, sores, whatever. So basically, if you had anything like that on your body, you were pretty much fucked.
It's a fucking freckle.
They never bathed. It was probably a fucking crumb or some dirt.
Neck dirt.
Neck dirt.
What if it was just a hickey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they were really big into foreplay
No,
back
I
then.
mean, God, could you imagine? Ugh. Oh my God.
Gross.
They're into
Ugh.
some weird shit. We're finding out.
Fromunda cheese is comes to mind. That's
Ugh.
all I can think of.
Oh.
Cottage cheese everywhere with all.
I'm so sorry,
God.
everyone who's listening right now. I'm so sorry.
Same.
Yeah.
And this is the last time we'll be hearing from Bob.
You know what?
Sorry.
This is gonna be the season finale, but the show's over. I'm not coming back.
I'll continue, Bob. We could talk about Fromunda cheese all day long. We'll make a whole podcast of it where we've had
Appreciate
I'm
that.
just about Bob and Richard's cheese podcast.
Yeah, right. Jesus.
Jesus Christ. We could call it Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Bingo.
Jesus Christ.
Nailed it.
Cheese and
Okay.
rice.
Yum. So in the height of the witch hunting, some accused people would go as far as cutting off their own limbs if they contained any imperfection. But that would go against them because that would just be proof that they had made a covenant with the devil because they now had a bloody stump
Right.
instead of a limb.
Oh my God.
So
I had a freckle on my hand, so had to go. Had to cut that thing off.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hate how
God.
just lose it is for
Yeah.
anyone that's not a white dude.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
fucked. Like
I don't understand why would you bother cutting it off?
They're
Why?
gonna kill you
I don't know.
anyway.
You know,
Right.
they're still gonna fucking
Well,
kill
yeah,
you.
I mean, that's basically admitting that you had a mark on you. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
where'd your fucking arm go,
and
bro?
now not only did you
Uh,
have a mark, you're now missing an entire limb that is probably because 1692 they didn't have good health care. It's probably
Gangrenous,
rotting and so
Yeah.
it's just
stinking,
Leprosy or something.
Yeah.
They probably put it in a storage locker. Anyways.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, they put in
The
a smoker.
smoker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside the Dollar General that they had to build
Yeah.
because they weren't prepared to have a limb handed to them in a bag.
That's the twist. It was
Yeah.
never John's leg at all.
Found well. They
That's
threw
why
all
it was
the
Cotton,
stuff
it
mummified.
was Cotton
well.
Mathers.
Good old Cotton.
It was
Mathers.
Goody
They were goody.
Mathers. It was Goody Mathers' leg.
Goody two shoes.
Goody one shoe.
Had to do it.
I don't blame you.
The governor of the colony ordered the end of the trials because his own wife was accused of witchcraft.
No, it's gone too far.
We're so
Real fucking
surprised.
convenient.
We're not doing this anymore. You guys fucking nuts.
Yep, he wanted the courts disbanded. So once that happened, as it changed from 92 to 93, the hysteria started to quieten down and lose momentum. Yeah, pretty much when someone higher up was accused, it just disappeared.
Right. This shit's
Oh,
crazy.
That sounds so fucking familiar.
Hunter Biden. That sounds familiar. Hunter Biden.
Some things never change. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
It was really nice though, because in 2001, like 400 years after this all happened, the Massachusetts legislature passed an act exonerating all who had been convicted.
Jesus fuck.
Oh wow, thanks guys.
That's so goddamn
But I'm
late.
dead. But I'm dead.
You can't even take that
Yeah.
apology.
I'm a specter.
No.
It's brave. That was brave of them.
Yeah.
Shut up,
Yeah.
Richard.
The end.
And moral of the story, that is how hell got its queen. Thank you for tuning in to Unethical Podcast.
Yeah.
You'd skip the whole Bible.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Head on over to our Facebook and Instagram to join in on the conversations about all things unethical. Just search Unethical Podcast. You can also find us on Patreon, where you can get access to all of our super awesome content, uncut videos of our discussions, and early release of all the episodes. We are adding fun stuff all the time, so you should definitely come and check it out. Thanks again. We appreciate all of you.
Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. Baby, I got your money. Hey, dirty.